Welcome everyone. Thanks a lot for staying with us. You're watching Plain Speak with me, Shivani Gupta. Trouble is mounting for former Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia. Aam Aadmi Party leader was arrested by the ED yesterday evening, remember, even as he was already in jail just a day before his bail hearing over the arrest by the CBI was to be heard today. The central agency has accused Sisodia of destroying evidence and having a direct role in the liquor scam. Sisodia was grilled by the ED for 2 consecutive days, in fact 8 hours on that day in Tihar jail before his formal arrest. The ED argued for a 10-day custody of the accused, but the Delhi court has given them a week till March 17. Meanwhile, Sisodia suffered another setback. His CBI arrest bail plea will now come up for hearing only on March 21. Sisodia has been in jail for 2 weeks already, remember. BJP staged a massive protest in the national capital today, seeking the resignation of Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal, whom they allege is the real kingpin of this scam. Remember, the ED has already summoned K. Kavita of the BRS in Delhi Liquorgate probe, and it comes after more and more accused are being still arrested. Even as a massive political war breaks out, the agencies are sending a very different message, that they are supremely confident of making their case and proving the charges. At the same time, everything hinges on whether they can prove the money trail. So is the noose tightening around Sisodia, or is there any way out for him still? And what happens to other key names in the case? We'll take those questions to our guests in just a bit. The Enforcement Directorate told the court that Sisodia destroyed as many as 14 phones in 1 year and used phones bought by others. This is one of the big things that has been charged against him, as the fact that this is mens rea. Clearly, you had something to hide. That's why you were doing this while being a sitting minister. Sisodia's lawyers have questioned the timing of the ED's arrest, saying the court cannot ignore this as it comes just a day before Sisodia's bail hearing was to come up. As the ED read out the allegations against the former minister, it told the court that the scam also involved government beneficiaries. Arguing for Sisodia, the lawyers said that Delhi LG himself has approved the liquor policy. So then, why is it that he is being held guilty alone? The ED alleged that kickbacks worth over 100 crore rupees have been received in advance by the Aam Aadmi Party's communication in charge Vijay Nair from the South Lobby Group in exchange for formulating and bringing a favourable excise policy. Sisodia's lawyers, though, argued that not a single penny till date can be traced back to the former Deputy Chief Minister. But there is another sensational twist in this case, especially involving the South Group. Even as K. Kavita is set to appear before the agencies, her alleged close aide, Arun Pillai, another accused in the case arrested earlier, has filed a fresh plea. So K. Kavita's close aide has moved Delhi's Rouse Avenue court, seeking to retract his statements given to the ED. Pillai alleges that these were recorded under duress, under force. Court has issued a notice to the ED over this plea filed by Pillai, and that matter will be heard in a few days from now on March 13. Meanwhile, there was political showdown in the national capital. K. Kavita held a hunger strike. This is for the Women's Reservation Bill. And as you can see, it also became a show of strength of sorts for other opposition parties, some like-minded parties to come together. The BJP mounted a sarcastic campaign against AAP government, showing, for example, Satyendra Jain, one of their jailed ministers, being massaged inside jail, even as their workers staged a massive protest on the streets against the Aam Aadmi Party. They were detained and stopped by the police at various places as well. Let me also, though, break down the prominent names arrested in this case so far. It makes for a very interesting read and shows you why the tentacles of this scam reached the South Group very prominently. First are some of the names of the prominent names from Delhi, the national capital. So there is, of course, Manish Sisodia at the center of the storm. He was the excise minister. He is accused of tweaking the policy so that he can receive kickbacks. He means the Aam Aadmi Party. There's the likes of Vijay Nair, the Aam Aadmi Party communications in charge. He's been identified as by the agencies as a key conspirator, someone who designed this entire alleged scam. There's the likes of Noose, for example, restaurateur, and he's someone who's coordinated the kickbacks. He's turned approver, so his testimony is going to be very key. And then the likes of Amandeep Dal, liquor businessman, Sameer Mahindra of the Indo Spirits Group, liquor businessman. Dal is accused of facilitating the kickbacks to AAP, and similarly, Sameer Mahindra is accused of making payments to Sisodia's aides. Now, all of them benefited from the policy and they facilitated the kickbacks. Let's take a look at the prominent South Group faces now. Arun Pillai, the man I just mentioned in the center, because he is supposed to be close to K. Kavita, her aide. He facilitated the payments for AAP on behalf of the South Group. Now, it is alleged that it's the South Group predominantly that benefited, apart from some others based in the national capital, and they all basically facilitated kickbacks. So take a look at some other names. There's Abhishek Bonapalli, businessman. He lobbied for the South Group, the face of them. Goranta Buchibabu, he's K. Kavita's former chartered accountant. He represented the South Group in a lot of these meetings that are being talked about. There's Raghav Magunta, who's son of the YSRCP MP. He's part of the alleged South Group of businessmen and other promoters. And Amit Arora is also a businessman who's alleged to have facilitated the payments from the South Group to the Aam Aadmi Party. There are other individuals, also businessmen, who've been arrested, as many as over a dozen arrests that have been made in this case. And there are those, for example, who have received the kickbacks directly so that they can plan or fund the campaign for the Aam Aadmi Party in Goa. Now, that's the charge against the Aam Aadmi Party. It may have not benefited their leaders individually with money in their pockets, but it was used to fund their election campaigning. So the big question that's coming up is the noose tightening on Manish Sisodia. Is there any other way out for him now?
I would say that 58 pages of the remand application, all blown up allegations, nothing substantial, and not a single iota of an evidence where it has been shown that the money trail has reached to Mr. Sisodia.
मुझे जो आगे की तस्वीर दिख रही है उसमें अरविंद केजरीवाल जी का भी शायद यही हश्र होगा जो आज मनीष सिसोदिया का हुआ है।
ये हमारी नज़र में मनीष सिसोदिया जी शिक्षा मंत्री थे, मनीष सिसोदिया जी शिक्षा मंत्री हैं और मनीष सिसोदिया जी ही शिक्षा मंत्री रहेंगे। केंद्र सरकार चाहे कितने भी झूठे केस लगाकर मनीष जी, सत्येंद्र जी जैसे व्यक्तियों को जेल में डाल दे, लेकिन जो उनका प्रयास है कि दिल्ली वालों के काम को रोका जाए, उस प्रयास को हम कभी सफल नहीं होने देंगे।
Going across to the guests joining us, Shazia Ilmi of the BJP will be with us very soon. Talasani Saikiran is senior BRS leader. Dr. Piyush Joshi is political analyst, leans towards the Aam Aadmi Party. Namit Saxena, Supreme Court lawyer. R. Rajagopalan, senior journalist, tracking the case very closely, all on the show. I want to go across to Dr. Piyush Joshi first. In the absence of the Aam Aadmi Party, they declined to be part of this panel. But I want to ask you, it doesn't look like talking about Manish Sisodia as an education minister, because he did what he did as an education minister, or making him a martyr is helping the Aam Aadmi Party, because ultimately the agencies seem to be very confident of the proof that they have against him. And the courts are giving them more and more custody for a reason.
Well, it is very clear that why the courts are giving them more and more custody. We very well know the recent amendments to the PMLA Act and what it does to the accused. Everything is on the papers as of now. Very, very clear that at best it could have been a policy flaw, nothing more. And that is the best case scenario for ED. So because ED is not able to prove the money trail directly to Mr. Manish Sisodia ji. Now let us talk about
no,
ED.
Once again, you talked about the ED. Remember, he's already in custody by the CBI, right?
Fair enough.
So the PMLA Act doesn't apply there.
Agreed. And that's why, even in my previous debates, I did mention that ED is going to come into picture, because with the CBI remand, they cannot keep him indefinitely into the custody, and bail will be granted eventually. But when the ED gets involved, when the PML Act gets into the picture, then you can keep him in custody indefinitely, like you are keeping Mr. Satyendra Jain ji.
But why are they not getting relief? I'm happy you
ED
mentioned Satyendra Jain. Why is he not getting any relief as the charges don't have a leg to stand on? That's the fundamental question.
Well, that is the fundamental question. That is, and the answer is the PMLA Act, and we can debate about it till the cows come home, because the onus is on Mr. Satyendra Jain to prove that he has not laundered any money, despite there not being any direct evidence that Mr. Satyendra Jain was a director of those companies when the alleged money laundering happened.
But now, in this case, Mr. Sisodia is a government minister. He's not an independent identity. He's a part of a government. He's a minister.
Absolutely. I totally agree that he is not an independent identity, and he is a government minister, and an important one at that.
Yes.
And ED can act all confident, but the reality is that it has only got 0.5% conviction rate. And why it has only such a minuscule conviction rate? The reason is very clear, because the ED's real job is to prevent the actual money laundering from happening, like has happened in case of a very prominent industrialist, and Hindenburg files point towards that. Now, when we are talking about something else, the Swiss bank deposits have increased by 50%. What is the ED doing about it?
But none of that explains. I take your charge against the agencies, but none of that explains the charges against Manish Sisodia or the Delhi government per se, of what they were doing, making a policy that reeked so much of absolute harakiri, and then retracting that policy the moment there were questions raised on that policy. I'm sorry, none of that explains their own actions. Mr. Rajagopalan, what do you make of the defenses that are coming in from the Aam Aadmi Party? The ED, the CBI, despite big names involved, the likes of Manish Sisodia, K. Kavita, they're not backing off.
Madam, one important thing, the representative of Aam Aadmi Party should explain why the file is missing.
Yes.
Why the file is missing. Second thing, why it was from 5 to 12%, and why the age was increased to 21. Why? So these three are the committee report did not suggest this. Why you tweak the committee report? And there was no cabinet meeting according to the charge sheet. And second thing, you all talk about many important things. The relationship between Kavita and Sisodia, that has been established very factually by the ED. The advocate may speak about Adani, but we are talking about apple, not orange. The cow may be home or cow may not be home. But Pillai is a key, in South Cartel, the Ramachandran Pillai.
But what do you make? Mr. Pillai today has filed a plea saying that this statement has been filed under duress.
Shivani, 1 second, give me 1 second. I don't want to take more than time. There are 9 retail zones in Delhi. Liquor has been allotted to them. Why Mr. Sisodia took Kavita's friends, Organics Kaviti, Avantika, Kalogali, Trident, Makunda Agro. These are all set at 9, and I can give you from the chart sheet the zone number 31, zone number 18, 26, the zone number 2 and 3. Why the South Cartel has been given with a 12% commission? Said therefore, there is a fraud committed by Mr. Sisodia. It's a criminal offense. That is why CBI has taken him into custody. Arvind Kejriwal may give certificate. Advocate may argue. But ED argument is different. My argument is simple, that why the file is missing, the crucial file.
No, that's a good point. That's a good point. When have we ever heard that a minister in charge is unable to explain how the decision came into being? That itself is a smoking gun. The fact that there is a file missing. Otherwise, it would be so easy for Mr. Manish Sisodia to show, see, this is how this decision was made. And it was a collective decision.
The file missing and South Cartel, this Ramachandran Pillai. If you connect these 3 dots, you can understand the criminality. And
but Mr. Pillai today says that the statement filed the statement given by me was under duress. Don't you think it complicates the matter for the ED?
It may be, it is for the ED to say, but Pillai has taken 100 crores or not. You say that yes or no. 100 crores is not an easy amount. And second thing, Gauri Apartments in Delhi, Ferosha Road, where the meeting was held in 2021 May 18th. I can tell you exactly 2 years before the meeting took place. And Samir met Kavita in early 2022 along with Pillai. These are all certain points which you have to put the dots. Advocate may reject it because it is his profession to do that. My professional dharma demands I must place the facts before the public. Let the public decide it.
Okay. Shazia Ilmi of the BJP is also with us. But before that, let me go across to our member from the BRS also joining us. You know, if you look at what's happening with Manish Sisodia, the moment the trouble mounts for him and the news tightens around him, there is greater trouble for your leader K. Kavita as well. Because whether they have met personally or not, there are too many links between the two. You cannot shrug off that link. Ultimately, yes, the agencies will have to prove that. But the charges are not going anywhere. And whether you talk about you being harassed as an opponent or as an opposition or this being political vendetta, none of that is explaining the dots, as Mr. Rajagopalan is saying.
So, you yourself have answered the thing in the question saying that it may not be proved because the case started on Ms. Kavita on August of last year. And the CBI came to our house for interrogation or investigation or just for information on December 9th. And today we are talking about March 10th. We are. So, and we have a case study that there are around 5,200 odd cases which have been registered in the last 10 years or 9 years. And only the conviction happened for 23 cases. So here, I am unable to understand if Kavita is involved in anywhere for any sort of any proof, why don't you show it? And why do you always give the details to media? Why the media has to be leaked for every single detail? For example, Kavita's number has been mentioned and the document came in the media. Imagine the harassment Kavita Gaurav has been going through regarding that. And one more thing I want to tell you, what happened to the BJP MLA who was caught with 8 crore rupees just 3 days back or 4 days back or 5 days back? Where is he right now? So we are just getting out of our
you've mentioned a lot of things, but they don't quite correlate. As far as the BJP leader's son is concerned, that's a separate matter. Whether we like it or not, he has got bail from court. No, sir, whether we like it or not, he's got relief from the court, right? Tomorrow, Ms. Kavita gets it, Manish Sisodia gets it, nobody will question it. It is as simple as that. My question to you is slightly different. You are saying that, you know, your number has been leaked, etc., etc. Ultimately, the point is that the charges are very serious. Explain the charges.
No, it can't be proven because she's not involved. That is 100%. She's not involved and it can't be proved. If there was any substantial evidence, it would have been out by now. Because the vendetta is very strong and this is not the first state they are targeting.
But they came to your house, you say, on December. We are in early March.
Let me finish.
Are you saying in 4 months if nothing has come out, then case should be dismissed? You know the amount of time these cases take in India?
So how do you decide? How do you decide? Is this judge who is deciding on the panel that Kavita has done this? So how do you decide?
I'm not deciding that. I'm saying that charges need to be explain. Just saying that this is political vendetta is possibly not enough.
Can I come in?
Yes, Shazia, I'll give you one minute, Shazia, 1 minute. Let him just finish.
Can I be allowed to?
Let him take 30 seconds
and
you respond.
And we are expecting such kind of an attack because the elections are going to be coming soon in Telangana. So before Modi comes, ED comes to any state, that is a practice which is happening in TMC. For example, I am telling 99.8% of who are registered the cases or non-BJP. So, kya pure BJP they are doodh ke dule hai or they are from Ganga hai? What is that? What is that?
Okay, Shazia.
This is what all of you together.
See,
so
this country is going into the wrong direction.
No, sir, you've not made any new point. The only pointed question that I wish to ask you and people of Delhi and your state
they cannot answer the questions we have posted.
It's a very simple one. What is the connection
Where is 5 trillion economy?
Can I come in, please?
Jobs?
Let her come in, Mr. Kiran.
It will not work.
Once we raise the
Mr. Kiran, let her respond, then you respond to that.
Clearly, you are... You know, the reason why you're all over the place is because you know that your leader is completely immersed in corruption.
Please prove.
There is no answer. I'm telling you, you have to be quiet. You'll have to be quiet. Your nervousness is speaking right now. You'll have to quiet it down. No, you don't know. I want to ask you, What
Mr.
is the
B.L.
connection
Santosh
of K.
has been
Kavita?
given
I can't
notices
speak
to
like
come to
this.
sit.
This
Okay,
man
then
is not
it
allowing
goes
me
to
to
the court.
speak at all. He has not been. I want to speak, and I want
Okay,
some
Mr.
time
Kiran,
from
you
this
must
channel
allow her to come
so
in now.
that I can be
No, I
allowed
have
to
to make
speak.
my
Mr. Kiran,
point
not
well,
like
right?
this.
Because
You've
the
got
allegation
ample
is on
time,
my
please.
So I want.
No, Mr.
I want
Kiran, not
people-
like this. I'll come back to you. Let her come in, and then you'll get your opportunity.
Everybody,
Yes, Shazia.
all the panelists and viewers of this debate saw how Mr. Kiran has so much to contribute to this panel discussion, but the topic, and it is the same old yawning, yarn that is bandied around as always. The basic question is, what is the connection of K. Kavita, the party supremo's daughter, with Samir Mahindru? And then what is the connection with Vijay Nair? And then what is the connection with Bonam Pillai? And then what is the connection with Arun Pillai? Please answer that. It's a very basic and a pointed question.
Okay.
Do not go all over the place. We'll not allow you to derail this. This is a matter of blatant corruption, which is for everybody to see. Do not hide behind this political vendetta. The cases have been going on. Were the elections going on in Delhi? Then
So
how
what
come
I'm
Manish
trying to
Sisodia has
put the
been
point, what I'm trying to put the
arrested?
point
Yes,
is
no,
being
not
this of a
good,
woman.
not good, bad for you. Bad for
No,
you,
no,
and
I'm
that
trying-
is what
I'm
people want to
trying to
know.
address your point
What
as
ED
well.
is doing
If
elsewhere, what
she-
was Kai Kavita doing? Why
She
was
has
K.
been a Lok
Kavita
Sabha
so
member
deeply
of
involved
Parliament.
along
She
with
is
the
the daughter
liquor
of our
mafia
Supremo.
and
She
Indo
has been from
spirits
the-
and insisting on giving licenses? Oh yes, no, do not do this. All bhakti you can do at some other channel. I want to know the answer as a BJP party spokesperson,
So
as
let
a
me ask-
co-founder of Aam Aadmi Party, and as a Delhi citizen. Please tell us what happened to the collections. What happened to
collections
the excise policy? Why were you involved? Why were you involved in formulating
Nobody's
it?
involved.
Was it
See, if
designed
they were
specially to benefit the Liquorgate of South? So the
for the
queen
target,
pin of
what
South,
BJP has on
Liquorgate,
Telangana state,
is being asked
we
very
were
simple
involved. You
questions,
wouldn't have left
which
us
your
that up.
dear lady is not able to answer. Answer them,
She's not
sir.
able to
Okay,
answer.
can I
Answer
come
She has
in?
them.
gone
Do
on
not
every
go all
channel,
over the
including
place.
this channel
Do
yesterday
not go
also,
all over
that
the
she has
place.
answered every question.
No, I will
Why?
not allow for this
Okay,
to
can I
happen.
come in? Can I come
I
in?
feel very
Shazia,
seriously about this.
Shazia, you make a
Because
very
what you
passionate.
can
One
also
second,
do.
Mr. Kiran, one second.
Corruption is
Shazia,
corruption is corruption.
Shazia, you make a very passionate charge of the connections. I've outlined them. But the fundamental question that obviously the BRS and K. Kavita will ask is that you've made these connections. Is there anything on paper?
Yes.
Is there anything, any document, any
Okay, I
company
will answer.
that all of them are part of that we should believe it?
I'm telling you that.
We are ready
No,
for
but we've not seen
investigation.
any of that, right?
Listen,
If all of
document,
them are in
there is
cahoots, there
obviously-
has to be something to link them together.
No,
yes, that's the
it has
agency's
been
job.
seen.
Yes.
It has been the informers. No, then Shivani, you don't know. The informers who were their people, who have supplied documents. There's a digital trace. That is why 170 phones have been destroyed. 170 phones. Interception of FaceTime
No, madam.
calls
Can I answer
between
that
One second, Mr.
this
Kiran, let her
good
come
lady,
in,
the
complete, then you
Supremo's
come
daughter.
in.
No, sir. No, let me finish. 6, and just Manish Sisodia in 2 days used 6 instruments, and later on, when the inquiry began, decided to destruct them. What kind of new hobby is this? That all the accomplices from across the states are busy destroying the phones.
Okay.
After the inquiries began.
No, but then ultimately
Even then
the
there's
fact-
a digital trace. Even
I know
then,
that
there's a
destruction
FaceTime
of
call
evi-
that is
de-
intercepted.
destruction of evidence
so
is
my
a very
dear
serious
friends, you
charge.
cannot run away very far.
Okay,
No,
Shazia,
we are
destruction
not
of
allowed.
evidence
Yes,
is a very
yes.
serious charge.
And
The
I
agencies have
do
made
not-
on
don't go
Manish
all over the
Sisodia.
place.
But ultimately,
So
they'll have
these
to
are the
tie it.
real-
One second, Mr. Kiran, you
Yes,
respond to
yes.
what she's
It's
saying.
tied.
Yes.
You
been
respond to
done.
what she's saying. I have a further question to you, but please go ahead. 30 seconds. Respond.
So I asked them to prove. So
Yeah.
are the agencies so weak that they just claim that they have destroyed the instrument? And for the fact, as Kavita has mentioned yesterday also, that she is a lover of all the gadgets and she is the lover of new phones. So she gets phones every new iPhone comes down. So what's wrong in that?
Oh,
and one more
wonderful.
thing. My father
So
is
this
an
is a new
official
hobby.
receiver of Mr. Narendra
Keep
Modi.
destroying phones.
And I tell that I have given
No, you
1,000
can
crores to
exchange
Narendra
phones.
Modi. So how
You
do
don't
I
have to
know that?
destroy them.
Nobody's destroyed. It's at their home. They could have collected it.
So
they should have shown in the evidence.
So exactly.
They should have shown to the
you
TV.
You want to brazen it
They should
out,
have proven
and
it.
which is what the
They should have put it
which is
somewhere.
the court will determine. Which is exactly what it is there for everybody to see, sir. You are running away. You are lying through your teeth. You are lying. You are lying. It's all out there. Read the charges. Answer the questions. Tell K. Kavita not to go here, there, and run helter-skelter. Tell her to go to court and answer the question. Tell her to go. Tell her to go to the ED and answer the question. Tell her to answer.
Okay, she will have to. She will have to do that. Okay, let me come in. Let me come in. Namit Saxena has not spoken.
You have to destroy evidence.
Okay, fair enough. Namit Saxena has not spoken. Namit, the fundamental question I want to ask you is that Sisodia has been saying that none of this money can be traced back to me. In the sense, it's not in my accounts, it's not at my home. You've raided what I owned. You have not found anything. Nothing has been found in raids. In law, is that a sufficient argument, or can the agency say that, see, you don't have to receive the money directly, individually, as long as the agency can prove that there were kickbacks for your party?
See, these are very extraordinary crimes. So extraordinary crimes require extraordinary measures to be investigated and to solve these crimes. Second, see, when we understand money laundering, as you rightly said, see, it is not important that you actually received the money or not.
Okay.
In money laundering, two very important stages are layering and integration. So there are layers which are to be unfolded and where the money was actually integrated. Absolutely, if money is received or not is immaterial by the accused, to constitute an offense of money laundering or to constitute an offense of proceeds of crime as well. And very importantly, this will demolish whatever, a lot of panelists today have said on your show. See, in cases of money laundering, there is something which is known as reverse onus. It is not on the prosecution or the investigating agency to prove its case beyond reasonable doubt because of the presence of this theorem of reverse onus in the PMLA Act. The burden to judge, that to disprove the charges is on the accused to prove that, that I have not committed these offences which you are alleging against me. This is broadly the theorem of reverse onus.
Yes, I think one of our panelists mentioned that. But I think one of the fundamental arguments that Manish Sisodia has been making is, where are the proceeds of crime? Right? Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal also says that. Have you found even a single paisa with Manish Sisodia? But is that a legal defense in such a case?
Mani, I can put it at the highest pedestal. This argument is completely flawed. There are only two defenses in criminal law. One, the crime never happened. Second, the crime may or may not have happened. I have not done it. There is no third defense in criminal law. In both these defenses, this argument which they are taking that the money, you can't trace money to me. This argument is completely flawed. This argument is not going to sail them anywhere down the line.
Can I just request all of my guests to just hold their thoughts? We are getting some more of the ED's remand copy as far as Manish Sisodia is concerned. This copy now very interestingly says that total proceeds of crimes are actually 292.8 crores. They have broken it down into two. So kickbacks received from South Group is 100 crores that we've been mentioning. But they're also mentioning profit of Indo Spirits as per Excise Department letter dated 23/09/2022, 192.8 crores. So the ED then says in its remand copy, by above acts which they have alleged against Manish Sisodia, Sisodia has conspired with other persons and actively involved in formation of a faulty policy against kickbacks. By such acts, proceeds of crime to the tune of at least 292.8 crore at least have been generated, and Mr. Sisodia has played a role in generation, transfer, concealment of the proceeds of crime and projected the same as untainted. Let me take a quick response from Dr. Piyush Joshi. The trouble is only mounting for Manish Sisodia, Mr. Joshi. These are very serious allegations, and agencies don't make these allegations on paper just willy-nilly.
Well, it is very clear, and we have talked about the conviction rate of Enforcement Directorate. So with 0.5% conviction rate, do their arguments hold any value? We must all introspect, because that is an agency which belongs to us as the people of India. And I don't think Manish Sisodia should be perturbed by all these allegations. If he has not committed any crime, which I firmly believe so, courts will ultimately decide in its due course of time. He should expect with this government in power that they will leave no stone unturned to put you in jail. It is very clear cut, and 292 crores in which you include the profits of a company as well, and an alleged transfer of money of about 100 crore rupees, as you yourself have mentioned. And the BJP spokesperson are all over the place saying the corpus of the alleged scam is 3,000 crores. So the corpus is not yet defined.
Okay.
I am glad that at least ED has come to a conclusion that it is allegedly probably 292 crores.
Okay, Shazia, the opposition does have a point. You look at any state.
It is awesome.
One second, let me ask the question. I have final minute left. Shazia, you look at any state where the BJP wants to make inroads, Bengal, Telangana, Tamil Nadu, Delhi, where Aam Aadmi Party has been, beating you for the last 10 years. All of their leaders face some investigation or the other. And then as Piyush is saying, what comes of these investigations? The rate of conviction is absolutely appalling.
Okay. So, that is where he wants to take us, because he doesn't want to answer the questions that are being faced by them in particular.
Shazia ji, I have answered you n number of times on every single point.
Run away. But I want to answer. No, you have never been able to answer. I'm challenging you.
Right
the connection of K. Kavita to Vijay Nair to... No, you're not able to. Let me finish.
Let her finish, please. Let her
Can I
finish.
come in, please? No, my dear friend, no.
I have limited time. Let her finish, please.
You're lying.
I have limited time. Let her finish. Mr. Joshi, you had your say. Let her finish now.
You can do your...
30 seconds.
You can do your... Yeah, you see, beyond your Bhakti Gan, you have not been able to connect the dots or be able to explain. And this is Pope Manish Sisodia. You speak for him. He himself has not been able to explain. He goes up and down, they ask him questions he doesn't know. So the fact of the matter is the blatant accusations and the blatant charges of corruption, and therefore everybody to see.
Okay.
Not just that, I want to ask you, so just because you're in the opposition, you're allowed to be corrupt? And also, if you say that, there's so many charges, I have a very simple solution. If you think Centre can get after you, Piyush ji, please tell Manish, your Guruji, don't engage in corruption. Don't have links. Do not give kickbacks. Do not do...
If you are in BJP, are you allowed to be corrupt?
No, that's not a defense for anyone. I've run out of time. All I can say fundamentally...
No, I'm telling you.
That the excuse that there is corruption happening somewhere else, why are you not acting on that, is not a defense for your corruption. Ultimately, if there is corruption and it gets caught, then you have to explain that act. I have to leave it at that. I do thank some of our guests for joining us. Some of them will continue with us because I have to move on to the next story. The widows of Pulwama martyrs who've been